some chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello and welcome to this week's Gull'S Eye View. Dom, Tom and Chris have joined me and we're going to discuss an away win, a much needed away win for Torquay, which leaves us third in the table. Dom, you were there. Talk us through the whole day, everything, the result,
The whole
game.
day.
Yeah, go on.
Can you remember the whole day?
I wasn't at Pizzagate at the hotel at the
Yeah, no, we should probably mention
pub
Pizzagate.
before.
You know,
Yeah,
Clive has discussed it on the
Yes.
other pods. But yes, go for it, Dom, go for it.
Yeah, we weren't at that pub, so the police won't be knocking at my door at least. So, but I mean, if they want to know names, I'm sure I can divulge a small fee. But yes, that was all good. Took us a little while to get there on the travel club, but we got there eventually. Enjoyed a couple of decent pubs before. It's a nice little area there, Tom, isn't it? I've been up to a Hampton game before, but
Not bad, not bad.
yeah, it was nice. And yeah, we dominated the crowd. They just felt like there was Torquay supporters everywhere. To be honest, they were just, and it made for a strange atmosphere at times because they were all so spread out. You couldn't let like that much noise. It was like the noise were sort of pockets around the ground. But we went around the middle and had a quick chat with Michael Westcott, who was in there with Mark, and he was right in amongst the Yellow Army, which is great to see. Yeah, brilliant. And you could tell they just love him being there. And I asked him, "Oh, is it stressful?" He said, "Yes, it is." And he feels that responsibility. I think he said, "Used to just be a supporter, turn up and hope for that. Now I feel like if it doesn't go right, it's partly down to me, but he was well into it and all that lot." But then we moved down the end, which was good because that's where we were attacking and that's where most of the play was during the first half. I wouldn't say we dominated, but we had most of the possession. Generally got down the flanks quite well, a couple of times overlap. Not a lot happened, to be honest. It wasn't a lively game, as anyone who wasn't there could tell from the radio or whatever. But then we got the goal, which was a good one. Left foot swinging cross from Carson. Cook rose between the defenders, headed it towards the corner. It felt like it was going in slow motion a little bit. Keeper was maybe slightly slow to get to it. Chris, you thought the replay? I don't know.
I've only seen it from the angle of the highlights.
Well placed, wasn't it?
It was. My instinct was it kind of bounced out. It's hard to know. It looked like it kind of bounced over his hands a little bit. So whether or not he could have done a bit better, maybe it's hard to tell. But it was a good connection on the header, wasn't it? From Cody.
We were delighted it went in because you could just tell it wasn't a game of many goals. There wasn't many chances. There wasn't many shots at either end. So that goal seemed like a big one. And we controlled it after that. The first half just sort of petered away. They tried to come at us a little bit, but they didn't show a lot at Hampton. I kind of expected a bit more from them and their main striker, Roberts, who scored a few goals, but they really didn't produce much. We just looked comfortable.
Is that the guy that was at Havant last year? Was that him?
Yeah. I think he played against us last year. And
last season looked good. Yeah,
there's a lot of talk from our supporters about getting him in the summer, wasn't there? And but he didn't do a lot. It just wasn't a lot to report after that. I mean, we had a disallowed goal in the second half, but there was just a lot of play in the middle areas where nothing happened. We dropped back a little bit deeper. They tried to be a bit more attacking, but just very little happened. There was very few shots to report. We stayed solid. We stayed organised. Paul Watton would have been delighted. That performance and
clean sheet.
Well. That's what wins you.
An away win. Yeah,
that's what wins your away matches. Keep solid. Keep a clean sheet. That'll get us plenty of points this season if we can replicate that. We'll play better teams than Hampton, I guess, on our travels. They'll put us under more pressure, and we'll need to be more threatening going forward because we still didn't have enough shots and chances. We didn't create very much, but it didn't matter, and it was just a lovely day where the sun was shining. Everybody was there apart from you lot. And, there was plenty of banter, plenty of chatter. It was just a nice day out where it went right for us. The owners we're delighted as well. And yeah, it all went correctly. So
I've had loads of days out like that, Dom, and it all goes wrong between 3 and 5 o'clock.
yeah,
That's
that's it.
But at least that
you
didn't
then,
happen.
Chris.
Yeah, maybe.
How
And the
was
fact that nothing was happening didn't matter too much because there was plenty of banter in the crowd. Helen Chamberlain was stood near us, enjoying catching up with people and that, and just people were just enjoying hanging out. Really, we hadn't had any games for a while, have we? So it was kind of like a chance for people just to have a bit of a catch up, a few drinks, and
it's a great turnout. It's incredible. It's a crowd of 1,600, and probably you could argue probably more of us than there was of Hampton. It's incredible. Like, I know we haven't had a game for 2 weeks, but the away support, well, the support in general has been top class this season. Everyone's bought into the Britain Consortium, and it's fantastic that just see a lot of smiling faces back on the terraces. And
they were so happy to talk afterwards. Consortium as well. We saw Joe Lovell and Michael was there, just hanging out, and they're just happy to see people, and that's great. Isn't it?
I was going to bring it up later on in the video, but I think it ties in quite nicely. It was almost a year ago we went to Hampton, and you could argue, that week we'd lost to Western, then gone to Hampton. You got the feeling it was at Hampton where things really started to go down, and the mood around the fan base really started to shift towards the more Gary out, and then more focus on the owners. And not that I really want to bring them up anymore, but that picture, I tweeted about it. There's one of that infamous full-time picture after the Hampton game last year, with the fans surrounding a certain someone who I will not name, but we all know who it is. And then this, the half-time one where there's a picture of the Yellow Army. You've got the Travel Club, you've got numerous members of Talkie Talk, and then you've got Mark Bose-Kavanagh in the picture as well, all cheering in unison. There's a banner, I think, or part of the advertising boarding saying "Forward Together," which has been a Hampton mantra for years. And I think they've seen what Forward Together looks like at Torquay United now. It's fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant support, brilliant turnout, and a very important win because we've been worried about the away form recently because we've had some slip ups already. And I think although Hampton aren't as good as they were last season, I know they've had a massive budget cut, and you could arguably say many thought they would be relegation follow this season, but I think they'll do okay.
Yeah, doing all right.
Half of the table, I think. But it's an important 3 points because had we not got something there, and then it's another 2 weeks before our next away game,
suddenly you haven't won for 4 or 5 weeks, and if we had won the weekend, so it would have been would have created a pretty bad atmosphere. Supporters a little bit, and you start to lose a bit of that optimism, don't you? But no, it's great.
It's a question. Go on.
I was going to ask, how was Seymour and Drea going back to their former clubs?
Drea was fine, yeah. Defence was just kept in their shape nicely, so they were pretty much untroubled the whole game. Seymour tried to get involved again, but it was much like most of his games this season. He just got out-muscled at times. He did okay, but he didn't have any shots, I don't think.
Yeah, missed that. So at the keeper, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I read that. I can't remember who put in that chat. I said that as soon as he missed that, it's almost like he lost his confidence. It felt like to him. So
he does keep running the lad.
Yeah, he works hard, and he's a technical player.
Think we're set up for him very well.
No,
I think probably Hampton, when they had him last season, were pretty set up to maybe use his strengths as a player. We
think a lot of his goals were penalties last season as well, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
We're set up more for Cody Cook, aren't we? That direct sort of play. I don't think
water header, by the way. Water header. Like, he's such a crucial part of our team. We need to almost get to the point where it's not all reliant on having him, just in case he's injured or whatever. But he's such a crucial part. He's such a good player.
Reminds me of Danny Wright a lot.
Yeah, just early on in his career. Yeah,
just the dyed blonde hair.
Yeah.
But he's clever the way he holds the ball up. He's not fast or particularly skillful or anything like that, but he does the job for the team. And
so
you
good,
can just build around him.
Yeah, I think I said before, I do like that kind of the options that Ash and Seymour give you in terms of, kind of you have in each game we kind of have an hour of one and half an hour of another, don't we? Whichever combination it is. And I guess you've always got, a running forward at the defenders, and just as you think you've seen one off, the other comes on, and it's just kind of all action, keep running. And but the problem at the minute for both of those two is that they're not scoring goals, are they? No, Seymour scored the game before, didn't he? And Ash has got 3, but when they're not scoring prolific amount of goals, but the forwards aren't, are they? What's Cook got? 3?
It's the link up between the two strikers for me. It's like, as we said a few times, when Cook nods something, there's no really.
They've been too far apart. They've been too far apart, Sam.
look at Sills and Benyon years, that's the obvious one,
Yeah.
you know, and Danny Wright and whoever was near him, usually actually more like Lemni Evans.
Yeah.
And they're always just like, there's no cohesion really at the moment. That really good partnership, obviously, Sills and Phillips as well. I know Phillips is a bit taller, slightly the different player from Ash and Seymour, but yeah, interesting.
What you've got is Cody Cook plays right up top, doesn't he? So you probably need a player who can play behind him rather than in front of him, I'd say.
Or side. Yeah, no, that's a good shout.
Because we're not very good at playing between the lines at the moment.
No.
So maybe you could find those sort of players, but that's what Omar was, of course, brought in to try and do and create. But he's going to
do wonder if
I
do wonder if we're going to start to see maybe a better idea of who Wharton prefers, because I know he's been chopping and changing a lot up front. Personally, I would rather start Ash and have Seymour come off on the bench. That's just my personal preference.
I would like to get that Cook and Ash partnership really going, and then Seymour can come in and build on from that.
Even on poor days, Ash is still a nuisance. He can still get in behind defence.
He's scored some crucial goals already.
He's just got to get in the right positions. But I don't think the chopping and changing is helping either, to be honest. I think, with 10 league games in now, I think Wharton should have a pretty good idea of which one he prefers. Maybe he will persist with Seymour.
I think Seymour's
the games I've seen, I don't particularly rate him all that much, but my Hampton friend said last season he was really good.
Oh, he's a good player. It just hasn't worked yet.
He's got better awareness outside the penalty area of Seymour, isn't he? Whereas Ash is maybe a little bit sharper in the penalty area. So you almost want to combine the two, don't you? But that's why they're down at this level, aren't they? So
I think he seems to have settled on Seymour as well, because in that early phases where it was kind of midweek, there's a lot of games, there was a lot of chopping and changing at the start. Crosby had a go, started at Chesham, was it? I think, So they've, and of course, Crosby's found himself out of the squad recently, hasn't he? So there has been a lot of chopping and changing, but we've been Saturdays for the last 4 or 5 weeks, or not at all. So it's been very much been Seymour starting, but after this we'll have played once in a month, won't we, in a couple of weeks' time, and then you go into quite a heavy amount of games with a midweek game, and then the 2 midweek games in November, I think, with Salisbury away and a home game later in the month. So there's going to be a lot of games again. It's become Saturday, Tuesday quite a lot, doesn't it? So I think you'll see more rotation again. I still think we need another forward. Personally, I just think there's not enough variety. I mean, if something to happen to Cook, were there to be an injury, were there to be unavailability or whatever,
Crosby a short-term loan out, maybe.
Yeah, I think we need another option who can be that kind of physical, kind of strong presence. Probably not in the same mold as Cook necessarily, but just another option. Because I know Crosby and Paul Watton's a big fan of Jaden Crosby, and I think he's got potential, but it's what it is at this point. So they're very much working with him. So I think another player who we can use now would be useful.
If you take Cook off, then you've got Ash and Seymour up front.
That's the thing, isn't it?
That's just not a starter, is it, for us? It's just not happening.
We've tried it, it didn't work, does it? It's like little and little, isn't it? When you need a bit of little and large, isn't it, really?
Too similar.
It's a really interesting point in the season now, really, because we're 10 games in when we...
Judge me after 10 games, Swanee.
Yeah, exactly. And we said 2 points per game, and when we had Paul Watton on, we joked that we were 5th because of that at that time. We now have that again, and we're 3rd, and we are 1 point off. And this is what I mean, because I think at the start of the season we were all like, outside the playoffs, maybe get into the playoffs, quite a few people. But this season's quite weird because there's no real just kind of where we actually can go. I think we can challenge. I've seen enough. I think I really like this squad of players. I really like Paul Watson. I really like all of it. I think as long as we just relax a bit and don't put too much pressure on ourselves, and enjoy it, I really think we can challenge. I know we're 10 games in. I still feel like we're nowhere near where we'll probably end up being.
How many halves have we played well so far? We've probably played a bit of 3
we haven't been great
where we've dominated. Yeah.
And this is because I think it's going to be a case of getting the job done in games this season, and I think maybe that's what Paul Watts is about as a manager, but it's just getting the job done and standing games and then winning it. We're not going to be blowing teams away apart from maybe chips and ways kind of playing into our hands. But I do want us to start control games, especially at play more in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
more,
definitely. We need to be more offensive at home.
Yeah, at home. I think but I think we can. I think we can really go for it, honestly. And if things haven't quite worked, we know moves us up a bit, maybe a couple players away, maybe just another quite little option away. I think we can challenge from. I generally think we can challenge for the league. I'm not saying we're going to be favourites but I've seen enough to be. I'm not saying I'm putting pressure, but just enjoy it and go for it. Honestly, like
There's nothing to be scared at in this league,
No,
is there? Nothing
no,
to be scared at all.
No.
it's too inconsistent to be scared of. There's teams that can really embarrass you on a day, really embarrass you. But like last season, the South, it's not a consistent league at all. And I think that's what we've got to bear in mind with our own players as well. Players, they're not going to be probably playing. There's not many players with 7 out of 10 every week. It's going to be an 8 and a 6 and a 5, and and that's what we've got to bear in mind. So we're going to walk away from games that we're terrible this week, and then next week we come up with a couple good results. So it's a very inconsistent league.
I do wonder if Boreham Wood will be
just going to say that. Yeah, just going to say that with Garrod back there. Yeah, I think as well, Swanee, when you look at it as well, if you look at it in terms of unavailability, we've not had a settled squad really. No. If you look at the players that have had phases out, you look at obviously the injury to Palmer now. Paulson's missed that for 3 or 4 games spell, hasn't he? You've had Hayfield's missed a few games. Moose is obviously absent now. Cody Cook's missed a couple of games, one with paternity. So there has been a bit of we've not had kind of a settled squad necessarily. So I think this 2-week break again, Palmer's going to be out for a while. Yeah, I think obviously Moose is not far back. And I agree with what you just said there. A couple of extra bodies, just a bit of quality. It's not an extra couple of bodies. It's a couple of good quality players that will make the squad stronger, will improve, kind of raise the bar. But again, like Paul said to us the other week when we met him, what we played since then, just a couple of games, and we 10 games, third in the league, 1 point off the top. We'd have all taken that, wouldn't we? And I think it's probably we're probably slightly ahead of where we are. And I agree with what Dom said. We haven't played really well in some games, and I don't think we've played really badly in any games either. Really, a couple of the defeats have been a bit unfortunate for a variety of reasons. So I think where we are now, we can be happy with after 10 games.
At the end of the day, look at where we are. We had a no squad. If we didn't get the consultant sorted, we've been starting not even this season, because we probably would have missed the deadline for Phoenix Club. When we've had no football season, then starting in the 9th tier next season. We're still in the 6th or even below the 9th tier. I can't remember how it works. But and last season we almost got we had to win to not get relegated. So we were a relegation sort of battle team last season. Well, club more, because it's not the same team. We are already in that time, as well as all the amazing work off the pitch, which we're going back every week, and we always will, because it's worth noting. We're still 3rd in the National League South, and we look like we can be a real contender. So yeah, don't worry, there is pressure because we're Torquay. There's always going to be natural pressure from an expectation from us fans, because we want to win every game. But it's we're 3rd in the league, and that's a really good achievement so far.
It's so congested, isn't it?
The FA Cup was a disaster. FA Cup was a disaster, and it's really gutting that. Sorry, Tom, that the next game we would have got Yeovil if we won that, but that's gone. That was a disaster for the club, but we are still 3rd in the league. And as I've said a few times, a lot of teams that kind of win these leagues also have really weird results. I've seen enough football over the years and played enough Football Manager to know that these sort of results happen.
Because that's relevant.
Yeah, it's just the same. It's just I've just seen enough campaigns in my time, Chris. I've navigated enough promotions in my time to know that those results happen. And
listen to it.
So well, if Paul wants, a bit of phone at time,
Did you apply for the manager's job this time?
I did. I did win a Champions League with Torquay this year, for those who did watch my series. So I did that for 15 years. But the way we're doing it, I think we're going to do it in 14 with Paul Watton, to be honest. So
you also lost 4-1 away at Dover, ladies and gentlemen. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a bad start, but
it just goes to show that this league, it's going to be tight. It's so congested. We're 3rd. Sam's favourite team, Dorking, 11th, for only 5 points behind. There's going to be a lot of chopping and changing this week. God, that's the word I keep using today.
I do feel one team's going to run away with it, and Hemel look good, but then Boreham Wood look quite good, and it could be us still, like Yeovil did last year, but we'll see.
You only have to win get 3 or 4 games on the bounce, and suddenly
you're suddenly now, aren't you?
You're up the league and you're top, so there you go.
Yeah.
And we're still ahead of, I know it's not how you start, it's how you finish, of course, football seasons. But, Worthing, 16th, Bath, 17th, Maidstone, 15th. They've had rather
St Albans
mediocre
got
starts.
a red card at the weekend, didn't they?
Sure.
Never.
I was listening to a podcast on the St Albans-based podcast last weekend, and they thought the referee had a really good game and thought we weren't a very good National League South team. Well,
we weren't great on the day, in fact.
Bottom of the table, that's all I'm saying.
Dear me.
And do you see the Welling handball?
Yeah.
We did. I have ignored the fact that we had 1 or 2 goals disallowed, which shouldn't have. And as Jose Mourinho said, if I speak, I am in big trouble. But that was terrible Jose Mourinho voice. But also, do you see for those who haven't seen Welling, obviously, we had that goal against us. And it does just prove actually, no, they are that bad. To my idea last week or whenever it was, they are that bad. Do you see the handball? It literally, penalty spot, like penalty box is there. He's handballed it here, penalty. And it's just like, I can't believe how incompetent refs are. Like, I struggle to believe it.
It's not just us. It's not just us. It does happen to other teams. I couldn't believe it.
They moved a little bit better when I saw that. But still, while we get, if we'd drawn that game after we had those goals offside.
Yes, I try not to dwell on those games because I think Paul Wharton said after the Welling game that they were down about the decision and that it sort of fed into the Bishop's Cleeve game. So I think you've just got to move on.
You've got to be strong. Yeah, you can be angry about full day, but you can't be trying on it.
We're in this division, so the officials, you're going to get strange decisions, and they'll probably go for us in the end, hopefully. And it will even out, and we'll be like, well,
they never even out, Dom. They never even out.
No, I've never believed that. Everyone always says that, but they don't.
Game can never be leveled out. I'm sorry,
but the best teams will be at the top of the league, won't they? So it's up to us to be one of those, isn't it?
And I think
we could have had 6 more points as well.
I think you look at the fixtures that we've got coming up this month and into next month as well. I mean, we're coming into a period. We've got our next game away at Eastbourne. That'll be tricky. Worthing at home, Hornchurch away at their Athletic Stadium ground, and then Chelmsford at home. That's some tough fixtures we've got coming up.
Looks like a big month, November, doesn't it?
Bournemouth away and all that as well. Yeah,
a lot of games. Bournemouth end of November, isn't it? Yeah, as well. Yeah.
So maybe in hindsight, maybe having a couple of weeks off isn't too bad. Allows some of our players to attempt to get back fit.
I'm no professional.
Into such a busy month.
I'm no professional footballer, clearly, but I never quite sure what this momentum thing is. I mean, I'm a big believer of momentum in sport, but actually, do you lose momentum by not playing if you're a footballer?
I think you need.
Or Hampton won 4-0 against Enfield last weekend. Made no difference when they played us. And I find that sometimes you find that the team that has a couple of weeks off actually come back. And play better than the team that have played week in, week out. It's really weird. I don't know. But Hampton won 4-0 against Enfield, and we all, we saw how difficult Enfield made it for us. So it's a good win.
Whether or not I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I mean, I suppose if you ask the players, they say, "Well, you want to play every week." Well, that's okay, isn't it? But everyone plays the same amount of games ultimately, don't they? So in whatever order, whatever injury, suspension situation you find yourself in, you got to get a team out, haven't you? I suppose. But I mean, I agree. I think November is big. If we can, there's some winnable games, some tough games, and obviously Bournemouth Wood, I still think are going to be the team that are going to be the biggest issue, and that'll be a big game when it end of the month.
About making Plainmoor a fortress, isn't it? If you can get to the end of November and we still haven't been beaten at home.
Top three, second or third, we get a home playoff. Depending on.
I think we should learn from that St Albans game that we didn't throw enough people up there. We need to
kill them in the first 10 minutes.
Get more numbers up the pitch.
Just honestly, look what Brentford do in the Premier League. Absolutely, look how many early goals they've got. Absolutely, just launch the ball.
Score in the first minute every game is what we want to do, isn't it?
Just absolute mental football, which you can't do for all 90 minutes. But just absolutely launch the ball and terrorise their living daylights out of the opposition for about 10 minutes. Plainmoor gets behind them, get an early goal or whatever, and then just go from there and then manage the game.
That was early Paul Buckle games, wasn't it? Where he used to get everybody up,
absolutely terrorise and bully them.
Throwing the ball down the sideline. So as he went, everybody charging up. That was the start.
Honestly,
we were knackered out by Christmas.
Because I think actually away from home, apart from obviously Bishop's Cleeve's game, a few times I felt we've actually controlled the start of games quite well actually away. It's actually been at home, even though we've had more wins at home. So
and we're gonna have to cut out these draws at home, aren't we? Averley,
6 out of 10 wins still though. That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that could easily be. Again, everyone could say it, but it could easily be 8 or 9 out of 10 because we should have won both of the home games.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good thing we say that.
I agree with what Paul said. We'd have won at Welling if we'd scored. If that goal had been given, I think we would have won that.
And even though we haven't played amazing in games, all have to look at all the games and we've all had chances that should have gone in. Like in that Jenkins Davis one. So we're at the end of it, even though it's not a pretty watch at times, we're still making enough chances to win these games. And that is the important bit. It's very professional, workman-like, hard-working performance, isn't it? I just want to see a bit more absolutely get into them first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's
I'm sure that'll come, though. I'm sure that'll come.
Yeah, he'll listen to me,
Oh
You'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
You see our hand in the CV. Fair enough, Tom. As we'll see when Football Manager comes out. Yeah.
You look at the Oval team last year. They weren't that pretty to watch, were they? But they kept clean sheet after clean sheet, and that was more than enough in this division, wasn't it? They battled through the away games 1-0 and
had a few shockers at home as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you know, they didn't start particularly fast, did they? Oval. It took to about. It was around the end of October, beginning of November. They really
when we started having a meltdown,
through.
basically, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Signs are promising. That's all. Again,
Definitely.
it's a great time.
I thought playoffs was definitely achievable. I still maintain, that's the goal for me, playoffs, and then see what happens in the playoffs. Well. But, I honestly believe we are going to get better the more games we play. And, we're going into, Saturday, Tuesday soon coming up. So that'll be the real test. If we're competitive and we're still picking up points, then that's a good sign. But then obviously I'm still thinking, harboring back to last season, we were kind of up there until Christmas, weren't we? And then it all went pear-shaped. So it's just managing expectations at the moment. But with the incredible support we've had throughout the entire season so far, I mean, they're not going to down tools lightly, are they? I mean, yeah, Bishop's Cleeve, okay, it happened. One of those games. But
it's gone.
It's gone.
We'll actually, after this episode, we'll put it into the cabinet of the Priest regime and games we don't talk about anymore, actually, because we've got to move on now. So, yeah, it's in the cabinet. It didn't happen. It did. But it didn't happen. Right. So we'll move on from that now. And I generally believe that could spare our season. But there we are. That's sport. And that's the beauty of it. Right. Kelly's Corner to end this week's episode. Kelly?
Yes.
There's a food theme, isn't there, Tommy?
Hey?
There's a food theme, isn't there?
There is a food theme. Well, we did I slipped it in there, but basically we asked this week your favourite Yellow Army away day story. Any moments that particularly stick out in your memory following the goals on the road, and also we'd like to know your favourite pizza topping. So
nice.
So a mixture here. So Paul Mulhern, good evening, Paul. Thanks for joining us last week. Great episode. Really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
Away game, I'll stick to one that he co-commentated on. It was September 2014. Chester 0, Torquay 2. We were in amongst the Chester fans who didn't appreciate our allegiance or that they'd lost, and we made sure that they knew about it. And he says, pizza, if there's no ham and mushroom, then you don't deserve pizza.
Yeah. I'd agree with that, actually. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
That is fair.
Yeah.
Clive's pizza choice says it's a Florentine pizza with egg, spinach.
That's so Clive.
Spinach? What?
That's so Clive.
Oh, come on, Clive, isn't it?
That is so Clive.
Oh, very upper class, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's for Clive. Blimey. Seen him on a match day. Crikey.
Clive's story
is doesn't he?
Yeah.
Clive's favourite away day story is he missed train at York after the trophy semi-final. Several beers with a Torquay fan who was the splitting image of Lee Phillips, brother-in-law.
I know exactly who that is as well.
Fun run the Sunday morning the next day.
I know exactly who it is. That is, I remember seeing years ago. I was like, Lee Phillips is literally a splitting image. Yeah. And even used to wear the Torquay top from 0708 as well. I know exactly who it is.
Alan Wills says he let out homing pigeons on the A303 on our way to Aldershot on a Friday night, as he calls it surreal, especially as we went several points clear at the top of the old 4th division that night. Pizza topping. Don't think I've ever had this one before. Pizza has to be kiwi on top. It's traditional for me after a trip to Plainmoor.
Oh, God, no. Not kiwi's awful. What?
Don't listen to him, Alan.
Why did he have homing pigeons in his car? I have interest.
I don't know. It just says he let out homing pigeons on the A303. Alan, if you're watching, mate, please feel free to comment and let us know. Very interesting.
Did he lose his hair before or after having kiwi on his pizzas?
That might be why. Yeah.
I don't know.
And finally, my lovely mum, Jane Kelly, ham and pineapple on top of a pizza or seafood. Seafood.
Oh, no.
I think the best pizza the best pizza I ever had was when I was on a night stop in Milan years ago, and it was a seafood pizza with octopus on top, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Fantastic.
What's your favourite away day, Tommy?
Well, it sticks in the memory because of how shambolic the whole weekend was. So me and my friend Alex, we took a National Express up from Exeter to Birmingham on the way to Barrow away. And I think it took us 7.5 hours to get to Birmingham. And we had a friend, Neil, who was meeting us there to drive us up to Lancaster for the weekend. And it was just everything went wrong. There was a crash on the M5. We had to divert through some shoddy town called Cheltenham. And then I had to take an hour wait somewhere by Worcester Rugby Ground. And everyone was moaning that we're going to miss connecting flights, this, that, and the other. Got through that, was absolutely shattered. So drinking was limited on the Friday night. And then it was that 4-0 defeat where I can't think you got sent off, but we stood in the blooming rain all game, lost 4-0. And it just sticks in my memory because now every time I go past Birmingham Airport, I just think that's the day we all had a meltdown trying to get our way up there. But hey, football memories, eh? Love them. Gotta love a football away day.
My favourite one was Weymouth away a few years ago. I don't go to many away, and something a bit more. Well, and Taunton away last year was really nice, but Southampton away in the League Cup as well, many years ago. Martin Ming's second game. Dom, I've got one more story actually I want to point to end the episode, which is really a feel-good story of the week.
Should we have some music to go alongside
this? Dom, Chris, your favourite away day memories? Oh, Chris, yours would be Bradford away.
No, funny enough, no, it's absolutely not Bradford away. That's an if you know, you know, and we'll move on. No, I was just thinking about this, listening to Tommy. I mean, I was at that Histon game on the Tuesday night when we won 5-4. And that was just that's just absolutely bonkers, that game. So that was lower league, non-league football at its best. I don't know. Yeah, it's games that have late winners. Games that stick in your memory. I remember that Lee Thorpe goal in injury time, then to hit back pass at Barnet on the first day of the season. You know, there's kind of those magic moments where those kind of late goals always kind of come in. But yeah, I think that Histon game sticks in my mind from kind of the term. But it wasn't just as you said Tommy. Wasn't just the game. It was ridiculous at 5. It was just the whole day. I've been ill the day before. Wasn't sure if I was going to go. Went up, staggered through the day. There was an oil spill on the road, so the players were late. So it was a delayed kickoff, and the game was crazy. We were way ahead. Then we had a ridiculous sending off, and they had 2 penalties. It was just ridiculous, and then Toddy slams one in the bottom corner in the 95th minute to win the game. So, yeah, I'd probably say that one.
What stands out, Weston-super-Mare was pretty wild, wasn't it? That was just such an odd game.
Bingate.
That was
Brad Ash scored, didn't he? Brad Ash scored their equaliser.
That was just such an odd game all around. That was. Hull City stands out years ago. That was such a weird one. That's like we won, so it was a great game.
Was that the Martin Gritton goal?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. David Graham set him up. We won 1-0. So that was great. But then the journey home took I think it was about 10 hours from Hull to getting back to Newton Abbot. I think the sun was coming up almost when we got home. There was 2 stoppages on the motorway. The coach driver had to stop for a break twice. Yeah, so it took us I think we got back about 4:30, 5 in the morning.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like for me, like the memories are. It's not so. There's not many games I've been to where we've won properly very well. So and it's just when sort of things go wrong. Like, let's be honest, the best part of any Torquay away day tends to be the drinking beforehand or the journey up. You know, Hampton on Saturday, one of the rare exceptions to that rule. But if I were to say a happy one, it would definitely be the Hampton FA Cup game a couple of years ago when we went there. I'm going then got Derby in the next round. That's my happy memory, just because of just met my Hampton supporting friends, known them for only 6 months up to that point, and then it just kind of everything kind of just the universe kind of just joined us together for that day. So that was a fun afternoon. And
Torquay Talk was starting to come a bit of a thing by that point.
And that's when Torquay, it's when my voice went and kind of went viral for a bit.
Yeah, that was a great clip.
That's the Hampton that I missed.
That's what we do.
Sadly, it's not the same Hampton I knew. So, but hey, that sticks out.
I've just remembered another one. It must have been the year we got back in the Football League. We were played away at Crewe, and it was probably the best in terms of the best. There was one of the most dominant away performances. We won 3-0. Rene Howe scored early. Mann scored. I think Benny Bowden might have got the third, but in terms of just absolute dominance, we'd had a pile of £1.80 pints on the road at the top by the station after. It was just a really good day. Yeah, cheap beer, unbelievable performance, just totally dominant. So yeah, that was a really good day as well.
You enjoy those times, and you never know when they're going to happen to you.
Yeah, well, at the time that was when I did a lot of away games, and I'd go with my dad and my mates a lot, and we'd win like hell about it being Morecambe or Accrington or whatever. And you'd give your right arm for a dirty little away game somewhere up north now, wouldn't you, in the Football League?
Yeah, we used to go up to when we were in League One for a little while, we went to Swindon, teams like that. It was just great to get in the club. We might lose, but it was just great.
That's 3-3, wasn't it? The Swindon one. When Akinfenwa scored 2.
3-3, well, I think, yeah. I think,
Constantine scored and Akinfenwa. Yeah.
Yeah, that stands out.
I can beat the cheap pint, Chris. £1.49 at Truro when they played at their old ground in a pre-season friendly.
Do you reckon it will be later this season, £1.49, Tommy, in Truro's new ground?
I doubt it. I doubt I'll be able to go to that one. But, oh, man, I divulged. That was like Dorking levels of drinking, that was.
Yeah. That's Easter, isn't it? Did it Easter?
Yeah, second to last game.
Yeah, that could be
I'm pretty sure, something like that. So, yeah, this is why I love doing all this, what I do. So it was also a massive ego boost, but more than anything. But so yes,
so now it's come out, right?
I've had a tricky few weeks, right? And one of the things that put a nail on the coffin was I was in hospital for a bit yesterday. It's fine, cyst in the ear, bang.
You should have mentioned it.
Yeah, it's not been nice. So I was walking out of hospital yesterday morning, like feeling dead sorry for myself, obviously. And I just heard someone go, "Sam," and I was like, because I'm deaf in one ear at the moment anyway, so it's just like, oh, it was me. And this lovely bloke, like one guy's taxi window. And he's like, I absolutely love TORQUAYTALK and I love all the stuff doing. Yeah. We just started having a conversation in the middle of like his car park and all that about Torquay United and all stuff like that. And yeah, it was just kind of, it's brilliant. And I was like, that's why Torquay United is so special to everything, Torquay Talk, everything. And that's why I've been part of this community. And obviously, since we've done all this, I've been more involved. And I know, I absolutely love it when I get to like meet and speak to people. And just that was an example of it. So
it's funny, I had one of those a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
I do some work with my son's football team, and I was on the touchline being my usual calm self during one of the games, and one of the opposition parents tapped me on the shoulder at half time. He's like, are you that guy off the Torquay Talk podcast thing? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I really enjoy it, it's really good. I was like, one of the parents of the opposition, and he was like, it's great. I was like, would I recognise some bloke off the internet? I don't know, but yeah, it was brilliant. I was kind of thanks very much. It is great, isn't it? Yeah, it's great to be recognised. It does give you ego boost. Thanks a lot.
That was the trouble on Saturday. There were so many nice people there afterwards. We were chatting and then realised
celeb.
And then realised the travel club were waiting for us. I missed from Mark and Harry, and we got out the ground and we hot-footed it a little bit, got on the bus and got roundly booed by the...
You were delayed, everyone.
Yeah.
If you're keeping Mark waiting that long, being booed is probably the best outcome you could have had. I tell you.
He was quite calm that day, Mark. Actually, I think because there was a big load of us that day. Maybe he was.
Was it just one bus? Was it one full-size coach then?
One coach, but it was a 70-seater, so it was a big old.
Oh, wow, that's great for them. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but got a little. We made our fame.
Yeah. Can I just say before we end the episode as well, voting for the Football Content Awards does end this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So if you want to further boost our egos, please do vote for Torquay.
Make us a winner.
Make us a winner. Or take third, but let's win. 3 categories again: editorial, podcast, and video in best in non-league. So please do vote if you haven't already. Please do share it. Definitely. Voting ends this Sunday from when the episode's released. So please do support us and make us winners. Come on.
Yes, thank you so much for watching and listening. As ever, we always appreciate your views and everything, and for watching us. And we'll see you next week when we have a very special guest. So look forward to that, and we'll see you then.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.